this doesn't line up. This is driving me nuts. I'm busy. What in the... Oh! What do you want, Roderick? Are you sure? I couldn't find it on the official maps. Good job, Roderick. We're here. Noscea. What a sweet, delightful place, where the land meets the sea in all directions. Of all the locations in 1.0, Noscea stands out the most to me. It was where my adventure started, and where it abruptly ended. Noscea, like all the other regions of Eorzea, also hid several unused dungeons, one of them being Umbra Cove. The dungeon also had a gatekeeper by the name of Amilians. Interacting with him, he would tell you, quote, "This area is off limits." Pretty straightforward. The cave was also very easy to spot as it was placed at the end of a bridge from the Isles of Umbra. The name Umbra Cove was not its official name, but was given to it by players as it was located right next to the Isles of Umbra. Walking past the gatekeeper, we're led into a dark tunnel. The sound of the sea slowly fading away, only to be replaced by the hollow echoes of my footsteps as the surroundings grow darker. The initial tunnel goes on for a long while, going deeper and deeper underground. After about a minute of running, I finally encounter something interesting. Sahagin banners with giant torches placed in front of them. I immediately think back to Peace Garden, where a similar setup would appear at regular intervals, with the banners being Ixali and the light source being a tiny candle atop a barrel. As I pass them, I enter what first feels like just a small open area, but as I turn to the east, I spot this. Windows in the wall. Is this an underground city? Similar structures could already be found in Mistbeard Cove, but there was something about the placement of these that felt odd. My gaze trails off to the northeast and I spot more windows and a torch placed on a wooden pillar of sorts. To the south there's a giant ominous cave entrance. It looks dark and threatening. I once again decide to check for a secondary exit, and thus have to try to follow the path linearly. This time I come prepared though, and I'll map the dungeon as I go to avoid getting lost. I opt for the route with a torch, as that has been a safe bet so far in this series. If there's anything out of the ordinary along the way, you're heading in the right direction. As I approach the windows and the torch, I realize that there's really nothing here, as there really was just the windows and the torch here, but the path carried on. As I descend, I see more pillars, torches, and windows, as if I'm walking through a lost underground town. As I make my way past this section, I make it to another set of Sahagin banners, and the wooden pillars now forming a gate. The floor is wooden, something that was not uncommon in Mistbeard Cove. The room was dark. I could see small lanterns placed on barrels, but they were not lit. Only a single torch would light up this middle section, which contained these two supply cages? I'm not sure what to call these, but they were there in the massive room. The room almost felt absurdly large, like it was missing something. That might be true, seeing as it was never implemented, but it may also have been intended to serve as an NM room or the like. Too much open space, but then again, this is 1.0, the king of open space. I'm left with another dilemma. The room has 3 possible routes. So far I've been heading east, and I'm therefore tempted to just follow the path ahead from where I came. At this point the dungeon should start swinging north, so if it doesn't swing north, it will probably be a dead end. Giving into temptation, I follow the path, and as expected the path makes a sharp turn north, but the path is actually a dead end. My plan has failed me. Interestingly, I noticed these small depressions in the ground. Going by the ground coloring, it's clearly intended to hold water, and sometimes when I walked close to them it made the water splash sound, so I guess they never really got to add the actual water. I go back to the giant room and try my luck on the other eastward path, and hey presto, a giant rusty iron gate greets me. Now here's some behind the scenes gibberish. Normally when I encounter doors in these dungeons, I have to use certain commands to pass through, but this gate is not solid, so I can pass through with no effort. The path swings to the north, and I'm once again seeing windows, torches, and banners all around as I continue to descend. At the end of the descending corridor, I enter a massive room. At this point, I had to stop mapping, because I had no idea how to properly map this area. Please take a look at this work of art that I made during my first run of this dungeon. I would have to return to the dungeon at a later time to fully map it. Anyway, the giant room looks a lot like the ones you'd find in Spoche and Cassiopeia Hollow. However, the sides of the pool were lined with spiky fences, Sahagin banners were everywhere, and in the middle you'd find this elevated pathway. I decided to follow this path, and I was quickly faced with another choice of left and right, west or east. I already knew going up this path that the path to the east leads to nowhere, so I naturally went west. The new taller Sahagin banners loom above me as I pass yet another pair on my way. I make it to the other side of the giant room and continue to follow the path ahead. Despite the room being massive, I really can't find anything interesting. It's mostly lined with crates and barrels, empty docks and the odd wooden flooring, though one thing did get on my nerves down there. This sound. This sound was everywhere. I finally managed to locate an opening, and I walked through. I walked for a good while in very cramped and tight cave tunnels until I finally reach a dead end. Another empty room with an empty water puddle. I walk back to where I came from and follow the path that goes around the wall of the giant room. After a short while I finally come across a wooden door. Not like the iron gate I saw before. I'm surprised. So far this dungeon hasn't felt all too copy-paste as the previous dungeon. This is the first wooden door I've encountered so far. And it's solid? It is! Something amazing must be hidden behind this door. As I pass through... forget what I said about not feeling copy-pasty. I'm feeling it now. A similar door is found right next to it, and it too leads to the same room. I realized that this room doesn't actually lead anywhere. I had to walk all the way back to the initial big room and choose the last remaining path. Walking this way, the Sahagin banners start ramping up, and I finally feel like I'm on the linear path again. A large round room with 2 paths revealed itself to me after a few minutes of walking. But I decide to carry on. I can see the faint shimmer of a torch straight ahead. And you know what they say? Where there's a torch, there's... Morch. Following this path, I once again encounter a large room. It's smaller than the one I came from, but the Sahagin banners are everywhere. At the other end of the room is an iron gate with Sahagin flags on each side. There's also a number of other doors all over the walls of this room. But we have no time. We're looking for an exit or final boss room. I pass through the iron gate and walk for a good while until I... Okay... This is the first for Secrets of a Realm. We've encountered an unfinished dungeon. Whatever was intended to show up here was never put in. That, or the gate was never meant to be passed, which is highly unlikely seeing as it's the only gate lit up and with Sahagin banners on both sides. I check the other doors, they all lead to empty rooms. It is possible we've missed the chance to see the epic conclusion of this dungeon, but there was an opening in this room that seemed to lead somewhere. I follow it and end up in another giant room similar to the one I almost got lost in. However, now we enter from up above. That's when I realize it's the exact same room. Not as in copy-paste, but the actual de facto room I was in earlier, except now coming in from the ceiling. Umbra Cove is unfinished. The end never designed. All we have is the dark void and the giant room. Seeing as the dungeon had this one massive room in it, I am absolutely positive that it was intended to be an open world dungeon like Noscea and Cassiopeia Hollow. The design doesn't seem too hard to navigate, and there was a large open area near the entrance that could house the ethereal gate, most likely connected to Camp Old Knoll. Thank you all for joining me on this journey into the dark unknown. I'll leave you with some detail shots from the dungeon. Hope you enjoyed your time here. I'll see you all next month. Remember to leave a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe for more. And may you ever walk in the light of the crystal.